Hey, what's going on, everybody? Um, I just wanted to make this video today. I probably said I was going to make this video a few weeks back. I've had plenty of debates, plenty of heated debates at some points about this question about book conditions and, how to determine the differences between them. And one thing in particular is, when is a book considered used? So when can you not sell the book as new? I've had so many people, a lot of the people that I'm friends with that are in FBA, they're in books exclusively, so they feel like they have this, knowledge of it, and they are right technically. I'm not disagreeing with them. Let me say that up front. But the question always comes up about, okay, I've got this book that's brand new book, never been read, never been opened, anything like that, but it's got a remainder mark on it. Is that a new book? Can I sell it new? And the answer to that question is a big fat no. You can't sell it new if it's got a remainder mark. Okay, I will agree with that. The main reason you can't sell it new is because it's got a mark on it. If they didn't put the remainder mark on it, then it wouldn't necessarily matter to me. But because they do mark it and it cannot be removed, it is technically a used book, because it's not a read book, it's a used book in Amazon's eyes. Okay, because all a remainder mark means is that Books A Million, Target, whoever bought the book, they tried to sell the book, they didn't sell it. That's the key factor in this, is it never sold. They sent it back to the publisher, who then got a credit. Target, whoever, got a credit for sending it back. So let's say the book is $10, they get a $5 credit to send it back. This publisher then sells it to retailer B, which would be like your Dollar Trees, your Five Belows, even Books A Million. If you look around in there, you'll find bargain books that have remainder marks all over them that they're selling as new. So that's why I'm saying, but the difference is they're discounted. Okay, so that $10 book is now $5, but the publisher still got their $10. Is my point. The credit went from one person to the other, but they still got their money back for it. Okay, so you can think of that how you want, but because of that mark being on there, it cannot be sold as new. So how do you handle that as a seller? Selling the book as new is just going to cause returns, because if anybody buys books if they buy a lot of books, they know what a remainder mark is. Okay, they know what it means. It doesn't mean, it means it's never been sold. Okay, that's one of the things it means. So it is a new book, but it's got a mark on it, therefore it can't be sold as a new book. Okay, you're not buying a book that's been read and highlighted and all this other stuff that makes it used. You're buying one because it has that mark on it, period. If you could remove that mark, in my opinion, it would then be okay to sell it new on Amazon. But you're removing that mark is going to cause all kinds of other issues, so you still wouldn't be able to sell it new. So it's kind of weird how that goes. But the debate was not necessarily about the remainder marks with my friends, like I was saying, because I agree with them. You can't sell that new. How I handle that, I've got a good bit of books in my stock right now, and a lot of them do have remainder marks, but I tell the customer up front, I sell them as very good, even though they could probably be sold as like new. Technically, I don't consider, to me, like new doesn't even need to be a category, because it's either new or it's not. There's not a like new. If it's like new, then why ain't it new? You know what I mean? So I always sell it at very good, and I'm very upfront with them and tell them point blank, this is a brand new book. It's never been read. There's no creases in anything. There's a little bit of shelf wear from, it sitting on a shelf at Books A Million or wherever, and there's a remainder mark. But the book itself is brand new. That's how I sell it. And I've had a good bit of success with that, mainly because, like I say, you got to be really honest with the customer up front. Make sure you're telling them everything you need to know about the book condition. Okay. If you have a good book, sell it as acceptable, which, like we've talked about before, shouldn't happen anyway. If you have a very good book, sell it as good, like new, go down a notch when you're selling it. Make the customer happy when they get it. That'll avoid all kinds of returns, okay? But the main debate is they were trying to tell me that any mark on the book at all, any label, anything on the book makes it no longer new. Okay, so here's where them selling all books kind of hurts their knowledge, in my opinion. And I'm not saying I'm smarter than anybody, because I'm not. but this is my way of thinking, okay? So in their theory, in their thinking, any book with a label on it is no longer new, okay? Because that means that it's been priced to sell and you bought it. Therefore, you are buying something new to you, but as soon as you grab it and pay for it, it depreciates and therefore it's no longer new. Okay, think about that, what we're saying there, okay? Think about if we treated every product on Amazon that way, right? So I'll get to that in a minute, but their thought is that, okay, you go to Books A Million, they nearly every new release at Books A Million and Target for that matter have labels on them that are like, they put the new releases on sale. So they'll have a 10% off, 20% off coupon, not coupon, but label on it. And they'll tell me that book is no longer new because of that label. But if the label can be removed and there's no sign of that label, the book's never been read. Now, I've never sold a book this way, but in my mind, that's still a new book, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, I've sold toys. I went to Walmart and bought toys. Does that mean the minute I grab that package, that package is no longer new? By their theory and their logic, it is no longer new. Okay, if that's the case, you just destroyed arbitrage altogether. No one can sell anything if that's the case. There is no arbitrage if you look at every category that way. Why are books different? The reason is the covers can be damaged and the pages can be damaged, okay? But what if they're not? What if it's literally a brand new book? They want to bring in those extra little things about how damage can happen with books a little easier. I disagree. Some of these toy packages you can do like that and it's damaged, it's bent. I can do like that with a book all day long and it doesn't hurt it. Point being, yes, the books can be damaged. If they are damaged, then they're obviously not new. My point was, when I'm buying this barbecue sauce, when I'm buying this, toy, whatever it is, are they new when I buy them? Do they depreciate the minute I take them off the shelf and pay for them? Because I'm the customer, I bought it. I'm not a retailer until I put it on Amazon. So it's kind of a gray area that I keep explaining to them, you better hope that Amazon never looks at it that way, because if they do, you're destroying arbitrage altogether, because everything would be used and half the stuff you sell on Amazon, all of the arbitrage stuff you sell on Amazon, if it's not a book, is sold as new. So you're destroying that if you say that it's not new the minute you buy it and try to resell it. So, I just want everyone I kind of wanted to throw this out here because I want to make sure we all know that books and other categories have to be separate. Okay, because they're selling their books and that's great. And I have one friend, I'm not going to say his name, but he sells all his books new, remainder mark or not. Now, he's gotten away with it up until now, but I mean, and you can get away with it. I'm not saying you can't, but it's being disingenuous in my opinion, because if me being a person who knows what remainder mark is, I'll be highly pissed off if I pay $25.99 for a book, got it home and it had a remainder mark, which let me know that it was bought at a discounted price. Okay, like there's a lot of library sales that have bargain books that are remainder marks that were never in the library at all and are technically new as far as they've never been read, but had that mark on it. But if I ever got a book with a label on it, I would say the same thing. I would say, okay, this is a used book. It's got a label on it. But if I get a book that had a label on it that's not there now and I can't tell, then that's a new book. It's just new. It is. Now whether or not it can be sold that way or whether or not that's right is up for someone else, because I'm not selling them like that. But how many products do we buy every day for arbitrage that have a label on it? I mean, maybe not so much with grocery, but with toys, a lot of times, I know at Five Below, if you go to Five Below a lot, everything in there's got a little price sticker on it. Does that mean that when I remove that label, it's no longer a new product? I didn't damage the product in any way. It's not covered up with any kind of a mark or anything. So do I have to sell that Shopkin or whatever it is as used? Because if I do, then you just X'd out like half of the arbitrage sellers on Amazon, because let's be honest, 90% of the sellers that are doing arbitrage, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to places and buying them, removing any stickers and labels, and then sending it as new. You just ruined everybody's business in that sense. So, just something to think about, a little rant, basically. Always think about what you're selling. Make sure that when you put it in that bag, the poly bag or that bubble or that box, whatever it is you're shipping in, make sure that you would, if you received it, you would be happy with it as a new product or as a used book or whatever it is, because the key to this is going to be your metrics and keeping them right, keeping the returns to a minimum, and that's a video for another day. But I still don't understand why we have to, we as sellers suffer for any mistakes that FBA, Amazon fulfillment centers make, like with shipping and everything else. So it's something that you just have to deal with, at the end of the day. So just wanted to make that quick video to make it, known that you can't sell a new book with a remainder mark as new. It is technically a new book, because when you're talking about a new book, you're talking about shelf wear and you're talking about page wear. There is none because of the fact that it's a new book. But because they put that mark on there, it cannot be sold as new. So just throwing that out there, and I hope you guys have a good day. But definitely do not sell a new book with a remainder mark. I'm saying that, people get away with it, but I think it'd be better to be honest with the customer. So just my 2 cents. See you later.